It's the first time Kim's wife, Ri Sol-ju, has appeared in public since December.
You've seen Ri Sol-ju, always beside Kim Jong-un, looking flawless and beautiful. But what if everything you think you know about her is a lie? Behind the designer dresses and perfect smiles, her life is nothing like it seems. Every decision, from what she wears to where she goes, is controlled by one person, Kim Jong-un. Want to uncover the shocking truth behind her perfect life? Keep watching, because you won't believe what's really going on. The shocking control Kim Jong-un has over his wife. You've seen Ri Sol-ju in her expensive clothes, her flawless hairstyle, always by Kim Jong-un's side, looking perfect in public. But here's the chilling truth. Every aspect of her life is under Kim Jong-un's complete control. From the clothes she wears to her every move, nothing about her is truly hers. It's not just about her appearance, it's about power, manipulation, and control. Take her wardrobe, for example. She doesn't choose what she wears. Every dress, every outfit is selected for her, not based on her personal taste, but to reinforce the regime's carefully crafted image of the perfect First Lady. No jeans, no casual wear, only clothing that aligns with the government's agenda. Why? Because jeans are Western, and in North Korea, anything that is tied to the West is seen as a threat to the regime's control. The government enforces conformity, even in something as personal as what she wears. Her clothes are a symbol of power, not fashion. It's not just her clothes. Her public appearances, the way she carries herself, even her gestures are all part of a carefully planned performance. Every smile, every interaction is designed to make Kim Jong-un look powerful and legitimate. She's not allowed to show any individuality, any disobedience. It's like being a puppet, with Kim Jong-un pulling all the strings. Every time she steps in front of the camera, it's not her. It's the regime's vision of her. Imagine living like this. Your life is not your own. Every decision, every appearance, even your behavior is dictated by someone else. Your role is to make your husband, the supreme leader, look stronger and more stable. That's your entire job, to play the part of the dutiful wife, the perfect first lady, to make sure the world sees what the regime wants them to see. No space for personal choice, no freedom to express yourself. But the craziest part, this control doesn't just end at her clothing and public appearances. Kim Jong-un's influence extends into every part of her life. Her hair, her demeanor, the way she talks to others. Everything is planned. She can't even change her look without approval. What kind of life is that? Where even your smallest actions are dictated by someone else. That's the reality for Ri Sol-ju. There's no room for rebellion, no chance to be herself. The pressure to maintain this perfect image is immense. She's always on display, always the perfect wife, always the regime's puppet. Imagine being in her shoes, your every action monitored, your identity erased. The world thinks she's living a life of luxury, but what if that luxury is just a gilded cage? And the real kicker, it gets worse. What you know now is only the tip of the iceberg. Stay tuned, because Kim Jong-un's control over his wife doesn't just stop at her appearance. The next shocking rule he enforces will leave you speechless. Don't go anywhere. A marriage built on politics, not love. Marriage is supposed to be about love, trust, and partnership. But for Ri Sol-ju, her marriage to Kim Jong-un was never about that. It was about power, image, and political strategy. Kim Jong-un didn't marry for love. He married to solidify his rule. Ri Sol-ju was chosen not for who she was, but because of what she could do for him politically. She was never given the chance to choose. She was made into a political pawn in the Kim family's quest for control. When Kim Jong-un took over North Korea, there were doubts about his leadership. Critics saw him as too young, too inexperienced to run the country. So what better way to shut them up than to marry a woman who could help him appear more stable, more official? The government needed him to look like a family man, a responsible leader, and Ri Sol-ju's marriage to him was just a carefully staged move to make him seem more legitimate in the eyes of the world. This wasn't about love, it was about making Kim Jong-un look strong. He needed a wife to make him appear mature and fit to lead. In North Korea, image is everything. and a married man is seen as more authoritative than a single man. So Kim Jong-un didn't marry for affection. He married because it was politically advantageous. The regime didn't care about their happiness or their relationship. They cared about what it looked like to the outside world. What's even worse is that Ri Sol-ju had no say in the matter. She wasn't asked for her opinion. Her choice was never considered. She was selected because of her ties and her appearance. It wasn't about love. It was about using her as a tool to help Kim Jong-un strengthen his grip on power. She didn't get a fairy tale marriage. She didn't even get to choose her partner. She was forced into it by the regime. Once she married Kim Jong-un, her entire life changed. She was no longer her own person. She became a symbol of loyalty to the regime. Every part of her life was controlled by the government, from the way she dressed to the way she acted in public. The pressure to maintain this perfect image of the ideal wife was constant. But that's all she was, an image. She was a prop in Kim Jong-un's larger plan to cement his power. In fact, the government didn't even care about her as a person. They only cared about how she could help Kim Jong-un maintain his power and image. Ri Sol-ju didn't have the freedom to live her life on her terms. Her job was to play the part of the loving wife, supporting her husband's public image while sacrificing her own freedom. This wasn't love. It was a political move, a strategic alliance meant to prop up Kim Jong-un's rule. But it doesn't stop there. Ri Sol-ju's life wasn't just about this political marriage. There's more to the story. The next shocking detail will make you see just how far Kim Jong-un's control goes. Stay tuned, because things are about to get even darker. Ri Sol-ju, trapped in isolation. For Ri Sol-ju, this is her world. She's separated from her family and banned from speaking with any of her old friends. You might think a first lady would be living a life of privilege, but the truth is far more troubling. Kim Jong-un controls every part of her life, including who she can speak to and when. This isolation isn't just a personal choice. It's a calculated move by the government to keep her under control. The government doesn't just want to limit her contact with others, they want her completely dependent on them. By severing all links with her family, they ensure that Ri Sol-ju has no one to turn to for support or comfort. Her world is limited to Kim Jong-un and the government. If she has no friends or family to help her, she has no choice but to depend on them for everything, emotionally, socially, and psychologically. It's the perfect way of control: isolate, manipulate, and dominate. But it's not just her family that's been taken away. Ri Sol-ju doesn't have freedom in any part of her life. The government is watching her every move. Everything you do and say is watched and managed. She doesn't have any room for privacy or to be herself. She is being watched while she thinks. Things would get very bad for her if she made even the smallest mistake or showed any sign of resistance. Can you picture not being able to control your life and always being afraid of doing something wrong? That's how things really are for Ri Sol-ju. It's a scary life because even a small protest against the system could lead to terrible punishments. The fact that she is controlled shapes every aspect of her life, not just her freedom. Kim Jong-un is more than just her husband, he's everything to her. He has made sure she doesn't have any ties to the outside world, like family or friends who could help her or calm her. The government has carefully set up a world around her where they can watch and control her all the time. It's like being in a cage made of gold. Pretty, but you can't move around. You don't need to be rich, powerful, or well-known to not be able to make your own decisions. Ri Sol-ju is cut off from everyone and everything else. She is locked up, but you can't see the bars. She lives a life full of wealth and comfort, but these things only serve to hide the truth. She is completely stuck. She doesn't have the freedom that other people take for granted. It's even worse when you consider the mental toll this isolation must take. Ri Sol-ju has no one to talk to. She didn't have any family or friends to help her or talk to about her feelings. It's hard to imagine how lonely she must feel. She is afraid to say what she wants or ask for help for fear of being hurt. The government makes the world she lives in, and any attempts to escape are quickly put down. She knows she has to be the perfect wife, so she smiles for the cameras, does what Kim Jong-un says, and never questions the system that controls her every move. But what if she meant to run away? Would she be able to get out of the golden cage she's in? You can't do that. The regime has made sure that she is completely reliant on them. Every choice she makes is carefully planned out by Kim Jong-un and his staff. She can't do anything, see anyone, or go somewhere that isn't on her list. And it doesn't stop there. The suffocating control continues to tighten. What happens next is even more shocking. Kim Jong-un's grip on her life gets even more intense, and you won't believe what he does next. Forced to conceive a male heir. Ri Sol-ju goes out of public view every time she gets pregnant. Not because they want to, but because the government makes them. The birth of a male child is the most important thing that will determine the future of the Kim dynasty in North Korea. There is a lot more pressure on Ri Sol-ju to have a kid than just carrying on the family name. Making sure Kim Jong-un stays in charge and his rule goes smoothly is what needs to be done. Everything that makes North Korea powerful is the Kim family's control. This power must be passed down through blood, the right blood, in order to stay in power. The government thinks that only a male heir is right. It's not just about keeping the family together. It's also about staying alive in politics and keeping the Kim family's rule. Kim Jong-un can't let luck decide who will be the next leader, and Ri Sol-ju's job is to provide the right person. Anything less could put the whole system of power at risk. Think about how much weight Ri Sol-ju carries when she's pregnant. It's not just about having a child for her. Having the right child is important. A daughter? Not enough. A son is the only accepted heir, and there is always pressure to have a boy. In the government, Ri Sol-ju's job could be in grave danger if she doesn't succeed. It's not about love or family for the Kim dynasty. It's about Kim Jong-un's government staying in power. The law makes it so that she has to have a son, and she also has to face that responsibility. There is close monitoring of all pregnancies. Every move is closely watched by the government, and if the child is not a boy, Ri Sol-ju's failure is made public. The fact that her pregnancy is a secret only raises the stakes. If the baby doesn't live up to standards, she disappears from view, protecting herself from possible shame. Birthing a child should be a happy event, but for Ri Sol-ju, it's a test of how valuable she is to the government. Her job as a mother is reduced to a political one. What makes her valuable isn't being a mother, but whether she can protect the Kim family's future. Just picture how hard this pressure must be. People all over the world are keeping an eye on her every day in the hospital. The regime's plans will fall apart if she gives birth to a daughter. There will be far worse effects on everyone than anyone could have imagined if she doesn't have a kid. If Ri Sol-ju was right, the Kim dynasty might not have survived at all. It's impossible to measure how much it hurts her to be a pawn in the bigger game of North Korea's future. Kim Jong-un is notoriously cruel, and he doesn't forgive. It would be more than disappointing if Ri Sol-ju couldn't find the right heir. It would be a strategic disaster. The effects of her not being able to have a boy are huge, and they affect her whole family as well. Should she fail, it could make the government unstable and weaken the Kim family's power. She is not just a wife, she is an important part of the regime's plan to keep power. Ri Sol-ju is under a huge amount of mental stress. Every pregnancy is a test of how well she can do her job in the system. She lives her whole life under the pressure to have a kid. There is no longer a separate her from Kim Jong-un's rule. It is attached to her. Her value is based on whether or not she can complete this one job. This affects every choice she makes and action she takes. Imagine being under so much stress knowing that every pregnancy is not only a personal choice but also a governmental one. Ri Sol-ju is only valuable if she can give the government the son they need so badly. The state tells her she has to be a mother, and if things don't go as planned, it could have far worse effects than just making her sad. She can't get out of the loop she's in. Kim Jong-un's ruthless control. She doesn't have power over Ri Sol-ju's life. She has to follow Kim Jong-un's strict orders in everything she does and says. She isn't allowed to use a cell phone and can only show up at carefully planned public events. Everything about her life is planned, watched, and managed. Ri Sol-ju is like everyone else in North Korea. The government controls every part of their lives. She is so stupid that she can't even use a cell phone. Not only do they want to keep her from the outside world, they also want to keep full power over her. Ri Sol-ju's link to the rest of the world is very limited because she can't talk to anyone without being watched. There is no one she can talk to, get help from, or even just listen. Nothing in Kim Jong-un's life is meant to go against the picture she wants to show the world. Not only is she physically alone, but she is also emotionally and mentally locked out of the world. When she does go out in public, she does so with the same amount of planning. Nothing happens by itself. Everything that is done, worn, and smiled is part of a plan to make the system stronger. She never seen without Kim Jong-un with her. She never goes out by herself. There is no room for personal expression or being yourself. Every moment in the spotlight is used to look good for the government. Most people could never understand this level of power, especially when you think about how Ri Sol-ju can't make her own decisions. In a normal marriage, each partner has a say in what happens and makes choices together. Not here. Her job is not to work with others, but to help the tyrant keep control of the country. She's not a wife. Everything she does in public is a warning that she's just a figurehead used to make Kim Jong-un look stronger and more real. The most upsetting thing about this power is that there is no way to get away. Most places in the world let people get a divorce if they are unhappy in their marriage. Not in North Korea. For Ri Sol-ju, divorce is not only hard, it's unthinkable. It would never happen because of the system. Not only is Kim Jong-un her husband, but he is also the supreme boss, and he controls every part of her life. One of the options is not to break free or leave. People in her situation could not imagine what would happen if they disobeyed the government. She is locked up in a golden cage that is full of wealth, luxury, and power, but she has no control over anything. Ri Sol-ju doesn't really have any control, even though she is rich and important. Every move she makes is planned by a guy who has complete power and control over her life. Behind the scenes, she's just another piece in Kim Jong-un's game. To the outside world, she looks like a beautiful first lady who stands by her husband. If you found this story shocking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible content. Click on the next video popping up on your screen to continue uncovering the truth. Stay tuned.